There is a crisp autumn wind here in New York City. I've arrived and I'm happy to tell you that Brock Purdy continues to make progress. He's officially questionable for the 49ers after 4 weeks of being ruled out. But Mac Jones is going to start, and it verifies one of our theories here over the past few weeks that the 49ers have been waiting for natural grass to get Brock Purdy back into that lineup. Where exactly am I? This is called the High Line. It actually used to be freight rail tracks elevated above the west side of Manhattan in New York, and now here's the walk down the High Line with that 49ers injury report. Another piece of big news, and none of the reporters who are back in Santa Clara asked about this, but Yetur Gross-Matos has been ruled out of this game. So he practiced on Thursday, didn't practice today. I don't know if the hamstring flared back up or if this is just a management plan to get Yetur back into action, but it's a big loss because the 49ers also will not have Bryce Huff. So again, they're going to be down significantly on the pass rush. That being said, Keon White is going to play. That also to be expected. 49ers activating their trade acquisition immediately. And, you know, maybe he's still on the time zone where we're at right now, the Eastern time zone here in New York, because Keon White flew from Boston to San Francisco on Wednesday, and now he's on his way back from San Francisco, or I'm guessing San Jose, here to the East Coast, to New York. He's not going to walk the High Line, though. When Keon White and the 49ers do play against the New York Giants, it is going to be not as windy as it is today. I mean, it was bumpy landing here in New York. Really, really bumpy. And as you can tell by all the plants blowing in the wind here on the former train tracks of the High Line, that wind is still moving right now. This is a really, really good example of some urban renovation. This used to be just all kinds of industrial space. Obviously, the train track was something that was able to pick up goods, deliver goods, and now it is a really good spot to chill. Oh, and look, we got an Empire State Building sighting, and maybe we could stop and go through the rest of this injury report. D. Winters, linebacker for the 49ers, questionable with his knee injury. It does seem like he is on track to play. Ben Barch, the 49ers offensive lineman, he's officially listed as questionable, so they have not yet opened up Ben Barch's IR activation. They have opened up the practice window, but not the activation. There you can see the Empire State Building. Finnerty's, the 49ers Giants Bay Area bar, is right at the base of the Empire State Building. You might see me there over the course of this weekend. Kyle Shanahan said that Spencer Burford is actually on a better track to play health-wise than Ben Barch. So I do wonder, is there a chance that the 49ers see a surprise starter at left guard? We know that Connor Colby has struggled for the 49ers, the rookie 7th-round pick. Maybe Spencer Burford starts his first career game at left guard. He has been at right guard for the 49ers in the past. I think he's a tackle for San Francisco now, but that versatility to play the guard position has been something that could punch Spencer Burford a ticket to some more playing time. That, you know, a lot of people talk about the offensive line for the 49ers, and they have takes on the tackles and they have takes on the center. The biggest issue for them has been that left guard position. Jordan Elliott, Sam Okawanu, pair of defensive linemen hurt in the game against Houston, both questionable for the 49ers as we get to see the fall East Coast colors along with old train tracks. There they are. I told you guys that we were on a former train platform. They've actually preserved some of the old rail here under the beautiful colors, especially at this time of the year on the High Line. So we keep on walking. I think both Okawanu and Jordan Elliott, based on what I saw practice this week, are in line to play. So the 49ers are going to have to overcome the losses, obviously, of Bosa. It's been a while, though. Bryce Huff, again, I would think he's going to be back when they play the Rams, along with Brock Purdy, maybe even Ricky Pearsall, because Ricky is out. And, of course, Yetur Gross-Matos. Art everywhere. Somebody holding a lantern. But that is not the way for us. This will be the way for us. We're going to move toward Hudson Yards. Hudson Yards, the tall buildings in front of us are at Hudson Yards. You know, they wanted to build an NFL stadium right here in Manhattan at Hudson Yards. You could literally walk, if there had been an NFL stadium there, up the High Line to watch the 49ers play the Giants, had that been the case. But unfortunately, we cannot have nice things. As far as Ricky Pearsall goes, yes, he has been ruled out for the 49ers. That is something that we have expected. I do wonder if they're trying to synchronize a Ricky Pearsall and Brock Purdy return on natural grass against the Rams. Look, now I'm literally walking on the train tracks with the new ostrich boots from Tecovas. Perfect. They didn't even pay me to do that as we're making our way here through New York. I just love the diversity of the architecture here. You've got some of the sleek glass buildings, and you have the old obvious warehouses with the industrial remnants on top. Good place to talk about the 49ers as we continue to move our way through. And, you know, a lot of people are acting like this whole Brock Purdy situation is rocket science. I mean, some of the questions today, it just seemed that there was like a level of perplexion when asking Kyle Shanahan about it. Just listen to this.
He's got a chance to be available.
Does he have a chance to start?
No, Max going to be starting.
How do you draw the, I guess, you've discussed it's a delicate situation with the toe. You don't want to have it aggravated again. I mean, this obviously he has a chance to play, on Sunday. So how do you, I guess, balance that? Like, he could play, and that means he could aggravate it again. I mean, is his toe fully healthy?
What's the question? Is his toe fully healthy?
Well, I mean,
no, it's not fully healthy.
It's not fully healthy, so there's a chance, he gets out to play. So you just, I mean, there's a risk with it, I guess. Obviously, there's a risk always, but there's a risk that he could aggravate it again.
Yes, I think you just answered your own question. Obviously, there's a risk with everything. But yes. Can you heard it again? Yes.
But I don't think that things are all that complicated regarding Brock Purdy. We had circled the Houston and the New York games on the calendar as games where we would question if the 49ers would be willing to risk returning Brock Purdy on artificial turf. And we circled the Rams game in Week 10 as a game on natural grass. And lo and behold, I think that Brock Purdy's in line to return next week on natural grass, obviously barring setback. With turf toe, you always have to worry about those. Brock Purdy already had an aggravation Week 4 against Jacksonville, but the 49ers are trying to minimize the chances of that. I mean, the last thing that you want is for Purdy to return, and once he returns, you lose him again. Because the goal for San Francisco is to have an elite offense, and Brock Purdy's the ticket to that, but not just Brock Purdy and consistent availability would be the ticket to that for the 49ers. Sirens everywhere. That's New York City for you. It's always going to be loud. This is going to put our mic to the test today between all this wind and all of the city noises and all the people. I mean, I've never had to wade through this many people as we go for a 49ers update. And as far as Ricky Pearsall goes, I mentioned this on a show earlier this week. Christian McCaffrey also had a PCL injury when he banged his knee in this state in Buffalo last year, and his timetable was 4 to 6 weeks, but the season ended. So nobody ever saw Christian McCaffrey return in that 2024 season, but I think that he would have returned around this timeline. Ricky Pearsall next week, it will have been 5 weeks since the PCL injury for Ricky, and I think that a return at that point would fall within that time frame. I think the 49ers thought they might get lucky, might see a recovery. It's a little bit quicker for Ricky Pearsall. That obviously did not end up happening, so we'll see if he can come back for the showdown against the Rams. Look, there are people that live here. Those are like balconies right above the High Line. They get to people watch all day. I don't know if that's an appeal of living there, because the people that you're people watching can also people watch you, but to each his own as we make our way through. Can't call it the concrete jungle because there's a lot of brick and there's a lot of glass, but I guess that there's concrete here as well. We got some influencers behind us taking photos. I guess I'm an influencer too, so I'm not allowed to complain. I do want to talk about the Giants, though. They have a couple cornerbacks out in this football game. Paulson Adebo, the Stanford product, and Cordale Flott, both out. So is Art Green, All those guys are going to be out. So the Giants, this is already a bad defense, and I think that there is a chance that it's going to be even worse. This is the number 28 defense in the league. So the 49ers will still be beleaguered defensively in this game, but the chance to control this game offensively with ball control for San Francisco is absolutely going to be there. And I think they believe that Mac Jones can get that done. As far as Brock Purdy goes, I think there's a very, very good chance that he is quarterback 3, emergency quarterback 3 in this game, since he's listed as questionable instead of out. It had been out over the previous couple of weeks for Brock Purdy. The reason that I think that Brock Purdy might not be QB2 in this game is because that would put him one hit away from having to play on that MetLife Stadium turf. And I think that it really is one thing that has dissuaded the 49ers from bringing Brock Purdy back over the past couple of weeks. So if you're emergency QB3, that's one thing. The risk to him actually having to play is definitely not as great, but you still have him just in case you need a quarterback there just to hand off. You don't want to risk Brock Purdy in that way. But quarterback 2 would expose Purdy a little bit more, and that would not really align with the long game that the 49ers have obviously been playing with their quarterback. 49ers worked out a punter today for the second time this year. Brock Miller is his name, and it's not because they're trying to replace Thomas Morstead. It's because the Giants have a left-footed punter, and Brock Miller is a left-footed punter. It was with the 49ers for a cup of coffee way back when, like a decade ago, and now he's basically just a professional tryout guy. They even picked him up at SFO with a limo. They brought him into the facility so Sky Moore and company could get used to catching some punts from a left-footed punter, because the ball comes off of the foot a little bit differently. So cool little video as we walk through sprinklers here. Did not think that I was going to be moving through rain. Maybe I need to pay a little bit of better attention. It's amazing how many trees there are on roofs here in New York. We're staying in a neighborhood called Chelsea, where they've got the Chelsea Market. Looked like a cool spot with a lot of food. We'll probably head over to the east side tonight, maybe to Brooklyn tomorrow. Obviously Finnerty's at some point. Have to head to the slice of the Bay Area here in New York, but I can't tell you how lucky the 49ers are to be here at this time of the year. Should be 57 degrees without nearly as much wind on Sunday. Should be a perfect day for some football. Starts at 1 p.m. local time at MetLife Stadium against Jackson Dart and the New York Giants, the final game before the NFL trade deadline. So we're going to be watching very closely, obviously, during this weekend and then after it, at who's going to commence with some fire sales. I mean, Miami is very possible. They fired Chris Greer, the GM, so following up on my video from San Francisco last night, we were talking about Mike McDaniel potentially coming over to the 49ers to be the consultant. It seems that they're going to keep Mike McDaniel for at least the rest of this season, but they may not keep their players. So look out for Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Matthew Judon. Look out for the Tennessee Titans, Arden Key. I know I had mentioned Jeffrey Simmons before, but reportedly they want to hold on to Jeffrey Simmons. And of course, we're going to be watching the Cincinnati Bengals, who play the Chicago Bears, and the AFC North is terrible. The Ravens are actually favored to win the AFC North now, which is absolutely wild. As we go by my favorite train tracks, there's something really, really cool about train tracks that are overgrown, faded glory, kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals playoff chances, even though they refuse to admit it. But that's obviously the team of Trey Hendrickson, Miles Murphy, a lot of players on that Cincinnati Bengals defense that might pique the 49ers' interest. But we'll just have to see. You know, the fact that Yetur Gross-Matos is not playing, I'm not sure if the plan was for him to play or just to return to practice this week. Since they didn't ask about him, we don't know if he suffered a setback. But if Yetur did suffer a setback, I think that puts you right back into position if you're the 49ers to really, really need at least one more pass rusher, because he's the top ranked interior guy in the game this year through his 5 games in terms of pressure rate. But if he's not available, then the 49ers are back down to potentially only 2+ guys, and they don't have Bryce Huff this weekend. He should be back next week, and that's a lot of reliance on your new trade acquisition, Keon White. So a lot of moving pieces. The 49ers will play this game. Bottom line is, if they win, they will be 6-3, with the Rams coming to Levi's Stadium, with Brock Purdy, I think, coming back, with maybe Ricky Pearsall coming back, with Bryce Huff almost certainly coming back. They'll be 6-3 with some troops returning to the lineup, and they'll have a chance to make a run at this in a league filled with parity, with the trade deadline also in between this game and the Rams game. So buckle up. It's going to be a very, very entertaining week. No better place to start it than here in New York on the High Line. Let me know where you guys are going to be in the city this week, or where you would wish to be if you were here. Maybe I will see all of you there. But we're going to do a few shows here from New York, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. You know what? We are approaching 100,000. We're only about 5,000 subs away from 100,000. So as I tell you to subscribe, I'll show you that Empire State Building.